Hello, Chin. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, loud and clear. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Kekime.
So it's all the number. Good to see
Okay.
you after. Was it not just last week Sunday?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Uh-huh.
beautiful. It was for me. I think it was yes, we might all have our views and differences, but I think it was a very insightful conversation we had on Sunday. There was a lot of interest.
Yeah.
There was so much interest during the conversation and post the conversation when we sat back to do a post interview analysis. Lots of people came in with
Mhm.
all different perspectives. Those who were really in
Yeah.
support of you, those who had
Yeah.
alternative views, and all that. But I think all in all, it was quite intellectual.
No, but one thing you have to understand, and I've really learned to understand that, and like I also mentioned during that uh, program, in life, you don't expect everybody to agree with you. But for me, I will say to you that from my growing up and my experience ever 1986, I live my life open. And all at this moment in my life, all I'm looking for is I just want peace with everybody. That's all
Hmm.
I'm preaching. Doesn't matter
Hmm.
which way somebody wants to come across it, provided nobody hurts anybody. I'm all for it. So
That's good.
I think my message, which I am not sure if I truly pass it across well the way I wanted to do, is that it doesn't matter whichever one anybody wants to go, but provided we don't hurt each other, I'm up for it.
So
You
basically,
know.
the message is live and let live, and like we say
In
in Igbo language, that the
Billy Kwakamoa Billy.
exactly,
Because think,
exactly.
and then, you know what, from what I said, when you look at what is happening in the land today, ọ bụ na mmadụ abịara onye gị ego si gị sie asị, kedu ife ị na-analụ mmadụ ego afọ? Why are you taking it? Okay,
Hmm.
when you lie for that person, you're going to do another lie. The person is going to cover for you. So for me, when I'm one-on-one with people, I
Hmm.
always like to use the example, and I said, let's be analytic. Why is this type of thing happening? Why is this happening? I know I'm not that old. I was born 1964, but
Hmm.
a little bit in Nemochie, my
Hmm.
grandmother, you know. Sometimes I just want to go back there, and then if I know I won't rewind the clock back.
Hmm.
If I tell you today that I really, people would tell me, oh, let's do this, let's do this. I don't see any joy in it at all
Hmm.
anymore, because yeah, it's like everything that you want to do these days, you have to look at your bag to see is somebody happy with you. And again, you're going to see I know from your typing, you said you're going to only live in an hour. Electricity says we're talking about really the marriages between, especially we Africans. And what I'm going to say is that, do we really know what love is? Or are
Okay.
we just, are we just,
I think that statement should be the should be the dovetail into today's conversation. Like you rightly said,
yes,
what you gave me here is
yes.
that is love and commitment achievable in a marriage of convenience. So, Doc, what I want to first of all do is let's first of all start by saying what is marriage of convenience. Let's start from there.
Okay, I'm going to get there. But will it also be worthwhile
Hmm.
if okay, okay, if that's what, because I was thinking even to preamble and open this topic by saying, what is love? And when I say what is love, I don't want you or me to define it
Hmm.
only, but I
Hmm.
even want, if there is people on the audience and in the comment section, because do we really understand what love is? Because if we don't understand what it is, hardly. There's one book that was very common in Nigeria at that time that people were reading, and it's called Hardly Chaste. And in that Hardly Chase, it says, you don't want to follow things sheepishly just because other people are doing it. Do we
Mm-hmm.
understand what love is? And when you say marriage of convenience, so am I getting married to you because I want to be, I feel like I want to be happy? Or what is it that I want out of that relationship? Because for me, again, I learned this when I became a Buddhist, that
Mm-hmm.
love is two people with the same vision heading on a parallel line, you know, heading towards the same thing, not one leaning on the other or this way. No. And when you look at it, when you really take it and analyze it,
Mm-hmm.
Ije, when again, please, Chim, bear with me because the reason why most of the time when I'm speaking, I try to bring in Igbo proverb is that
Mm-hmm.
if you remember, I told you that these very Buddhism that I practice, I see a lot of things in it that was in
Mm-hmm.
Igbo land. Okay, ndị be anyị si na eze niile nọ na the same place. Once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
ezega atabie ilegoria, you have pain,
Mm-hmm.
but it heals. So the synonym with that is that it doesn't mean that when you meet the right person or Boginianabo, it doesn't mean no misunderstanding. But let me tell you, that misunderstanding will not cross from the bedroom. Una solve voya. You wouldn't need a third party in that resolution. But
Yeah.
when a relationship, kata 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 kata,
So,
or your
so
friend,
Doc, just
yeah,
a quick second. Let's
yeah.
welcome Fumi. Fumi just joined us on the panel. Fumi, welcome. Can you hear me? Oh, she's dropped off. Okay. Hopefully she'll come
Yeah.
back again.
If she comes back, is she joining us from Nigeria or from somewhere on the diaspora?
I'm not sure where she's joining
Okay,
us from, but
okay.
Fumi, if you can, please, we'll be
Well,
glad to
Nigeria is
have
not
you.
the only place that you drop off. Sometimes it happens all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before
So
you go, just before you go ahead, so when I was having a conversation with electricity,
yeah,
and one of the things he came up with was, and amongst many other similar examples, is
yeah.
so
Welcome,
I live in
Fumi. Can you unmute yourself?
It's just that the background might be a bit noisy, but I can
Oh,
hear everything. Yeah.
okay, all right, no
okay,
problem,
okay.
no
Thank you. We
problem.
Thank
just
you.
So
wanted to
we
welcome
haven't
you.
gone too far yet. We're just
Thank you.
starting, and I
Yeah.
was
Okay.
asking Dr. Neka to kind of give us like a preamble to the conversation. I'm sure you know what the conversation is all about for today. And she was just gradually building up that before you came in. But I just stopped her now to throw in a little question that would
All
help
right.
her continue from where she left off. And my question is simple. So I live
Okay.
in Canada.
All right.
I'm not married. Assuming I wasn't married and I wanted to get married. And then I decided to go home to Nigeria to go get a wife.
Mhm.
Remember, I haven't necessarily dated this person. I don't know her. And maybe friends, family introduced me. Obviously, you guys know that the answer to my request
Mhm.
to whoever it is going to be yes. One, because I live in the Western world. So,
Mhm.
Doc,
Yeah.
with this kind of scenario, do you
Mhm.
think it's possible to build love on this kind of example?
It's possible, but before you start building that love, the guy who now leaves Canada to go to Nigeria, you must have a list. What is it that you need from a wife? This is a wife. Am I right? This is not
Mm-hmm.
a dating, this is not a girlfriend. So you must have a list. What is in your list? And again, in that list, you might be expecting to see 100. No, you're never going to get that. But if you get 80, you are okay. You're perfectly okay. But in that list, what is you must not negotiate with? This is my top three or my top five. Without this, I cannot proceed with this marriage because this means a lot to me. And let me give you an example of that. You see, me, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
Igbo woman. I love everybody. But as you can see, almost all my sentence, an Igbo would drop into it. There are certain things in Igbo land that I might not have an English word for. And if I try to convert it, it doesn't make meaning to me. And again, I think the reason why for me as an individual, I'm not saying it's for every Igbo woman, but for me as an individual, why that is so crucial for me is that there's a little bit of comedian in my life. You know, you guys might see me here. You might not notice, but there's a little bit of comedian. So in that comfort zone between me and that person, I could throw in some of these words that if I translate it in English, then forget the comedy in it is gone.
Okay.
So then I'll be fighting for this individual to understand what I'm trying to say. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it might be a little bit stressful for me. Then I might also, because I don't want to exclude him from what I'm doing. So you see that? So that, and for me personally, I want that Igbo person in my life. You understand what I'm saying? So that's
Mm-hmm.
a no breaker for me.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're
So
saying that
you,
in those checklist of things you're looking out for, one is someone who speaks the same language with you.
but this is for me, but in your own
I know.
list,
I know.
in
So
your own
what I'm
list
saying
right
is,
now. So what I'm trying to I say to you is that you
mhm,
must have at least, it might be only two for you. For me, it's only one.
okay.
For me, it might be up to four things that she cannot. That will be a no breaker for her. You understand what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I'm saying to you that that list might be up to 10. Out of that 10, if you get 80 or anywhere between 70 and 80, you're good. Do not compromise certain things. And maybe in your subconsciousness, do not ever say, oh, when I marry her, then she will change. No, she will not change. Human beings don't really change. The only time you will see a human being change is like me now. When I became a Buddhist, I began to realize certain things and I began to change them. But if you think I'm going to change, if I wasn't cooking when you and I met, and you think that then after you put the ring on me, then I will start. You're wasting your bloody time. I might do it for a few days to please you, but I will fall back into my usual behavior, and then there's a quarrel.
Okay, so I have a question here. And then
Yeah.
Fumi, please, whenever you feel like weighing in, let me know so that we can allow you to speak. So,
Yeah.
Doc, based off what you just said right now, my mind began to
Mm-hmm.
go back to our forefathers, our
Mm-hmm.
parents,
Mm-hmm.
and when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I don't know if it's right to say in our generation because you're older than me, so I don't know if
Yeah.
it is right to say our generation that way, throw it as a
Mm-hmm.
blanket. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Today, people meet in school, people meet in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
in social gatherings, they
Mm-hmm.
date or court for a
Mm-hmm.
while, and
Mm-hmm.
then before they say, okay, you know what, we think we can make a life together, and they get married.
Mm-hmm.
In our uh, parents' generation, it wasn't always, at least to an X, to maybe 5% or even less was what I said. It was predominantly they find a wife for you. Maybe this man, the man's parents and the woman's parents were close, and they see that, oh, I think this girl will do well for our son or whatever, and they get married. Those were examples of marriages of convenience. So
Mhm.
now, given the kind of analogies you just made now,
Mhm.
were our parents having this checklist of things that they would say, oh, this, and that?
They had their own checklist, but please do not mix those checklists with the modern world, because this modern world these days, remember, in those days, okay, our parents always guided us as a woman. Let me, because there's so many things, and like many a times, instead of bringing all those examples at one time, I use one example, but there's other things under the umbrella. One, as a young girl, you know, when we're growing up, our parents will have us as a female child to be around them, to learn how to cook, to learn how to cross our legs and behave as a young girl. Well, this modern generation, you don't have that anymore. So you need to dance to the tune of the era that you're in. All right. So and we Nigerians in particular, we make this mistake a lot. We said, oh, but when my dad and my mom met, this is what they were doing. But you forgot that they did their own checklist in a different way than what you're doing today. And the parents, they talk, the villages, the aunties, the uncles, they sit in that obi and they discuss. They know everything in the other family that is coming in. And they, in some villages, the woman will come with the keg of wine, itot, on their head that first visit. Then your mother is really watching. They're watching her, the way she behaves, the way she cooks, the way they'll give her food to cook. They watch out how she wakes up in the morning and the way she sweeps. All these were all checklists at that time. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we, the present generation, will learn to separate that era, they had their own checklist. It might not be the way you have the checklist that you have these days, because in those days you were not telling the series to turn the light for you. It's there's something we call urim, you know, that that they use for their lightning at that time. Well, now you have the series. You just clap your hand and the series turns the light for you. So we must learn to understand that in that era they had their own checklist and it worked for them. But now you have all these things also. So we need to tone down, or we need to work with the era that we're in, you know. So
Okay.
I think that's also where we are making the mistake. We keep comparing our parents with what we are doing today, but we forget we have all these gadgets. We have the YouTube. When I was growing up, there was nothing like a baby program that I would sit down and watch a baby program. No, my parents will play with me. My mother, who wasn't, she didn't go to school. She did not work. She had 10 of us in the house. She didn't even deliver us in the hospital. But now it's hard for you to see a woman deliver in the house. Some of us were delivered in the market. The woman will go to the market, and all of a sudden, the woman is having contraction on other women who didn't go to school to learn to deliver. Will gather around and know exactly what to do. So that's what I'm saying, because I know where you're going with that question. You probably will be asking me, how then did they live happily ever after? Not really, not all of them really lived happily ever after
Okay.
anyway.
So let me bring in Fumi to the
Yeah.
conversation. Fumi, do you have any thing you want to throw in so that this conversation can go on?
Thank you so much. I just want to back our mommy up on the point she just said now. When you compare the life of those days to the life we currently have now, to me, they are two different lives entirely. Those days we have our fathers were up and doing, they were up to the task, they were the main provider, they were lovers of women and their children, they were truly the head. When I say head, not the kind of head that we have now in our world today. I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but you should understand what I'm talking about. So those days, women were naturally submissive because men were naturally up to the task. Let me put it that way. Unlike the life we currently live now. And if you ask me, you see most African men now, they come up to say, "Oh, I'm the head of the family." It's not by word of mouth. You can't say, you don't even need to say it. If you are truly the head, you don't need to say it. The moment you tell your woman that I'm the head of the family, then there's a problem somewhere. The moment you need to remind that woman that I'm the head of this family, then I believe there's problem somewhere. Because if you are truly the head, you should live up to expectation. You should be a leader. You should lead your house in everything. So that's what I just want to chip in. Comparing those marriages to the modern marriages of today, like she said, those days we had no time to sit down to watch Coco Melon. I'm sorry for the background noise. We had no time to sit down to watch Coco Melon and all those things. Myself, I was one of those people that grew up playing all these sway games. We were all over the place in the streets running around.
Yeah.
Unlike what we've got now, that you just have children within the four walls of the house, just with you know, their iPad and all that. So
So
that's just
okay,
what I
so
was
thank you for me, but I think don't leave yet. You threw in
saying.
a
Okay,
very interesting perspective to the conversation, and
okay,
we talked about men being men and
yeah,
being responsible, and that
yeah,
they were also providers.
yeah,
So I guess my next question would be, considering the fact that in this era it is more or less marriage is more or less a 50-50 thing.
yeah,
People, you're expecting to have a spouse who brings in something. My
yeah,
question will now, does the woman contributing to the family uh, and maybe on a 50-50 basis, or sometimes even maybe sometimes the woman is producing 60% of the resources more than the guy, does that in any way negate or take away the fact that traditionally the man is the head of the home? Or should that make the marriage to be such that there's no respect for the man? And any of you can contribute, and Doc, you can say something about it, and for me, same for me.
Um, uh, with respect, I clearly understand what my sis Fumi is saying, but can I please make this clear to each and every one of us as a human being? See, that's why I said, what do you want in your list? Okay, because I think in this era, a lot of us are basing relationships, marriages on how much money is this person bringing in. If that's what, and again, please know that when I say these things, I will always say to people, I'm not knocking you, whatever you want, but whatever the after effect, do not complain. I, as a human being, I would love to have somebody who truly, truly loves me, not the money. Even if the both of us, it's only palm kernel we are able to eat on a daily basis, we both will sit down and share it with that great love and appreciation for each other. Not how much does this person, not how much does this person bring. Because when we look at it, that's what is causing all this problem. That's okay, I'm making more than you, so then I'm not going to respect you. So, well, if I'm going to start a relationship with that, there's no relationship there then. There's no relationship. Relationship should not be based on how much I'm bringing in or you're bringing in. I personally, I want to be in love with someone that we both of us we're going to make it. If it happens that he will make more than me, so be it. And if it happens that I make more than him, under no circumstances will I want him to feel threatened because I'm making more. If that's what he will portray to me, that I'm making more, then he's not my man. Period. I will go for
Okay.
somebody else then. Yes. So I
So
really
for me,
personally, I would like to remove that equation of money aspect in a relationship. I don't think it will be part of a relationship at all. But some people will disagree with me.
okay. So for me, what
Yeah.
do you think?
Okay, this is my own stand. You know, personally, I believe women should go out there to make money while men should also go out there to make money. Like she said, it doesn't matter who earns more. As long as there is love, you can always bring it together and live a happy life. But this is where I've got problem with our modern day men. A husband and a wife will go out there to do their daily activity, to go to the jobs. And comparing the life of today to the olden days is what I want to compare now. We've got so many women struggling, trying to stand on their feet to support their family 100%. Men are also out there struggling to support their family 100%. But the problem that happens when both have gone in the morning to hustle, they are back in the evening, and all of a sudden the man just sees himself as, oh, I'm the head, you should do all the cooking, you should do all the housework, you should do all the washing, you should do everything expected of a woman and still contribute 50-50 to the family upkeep. I think that is wrong. If we want to be together, let us share everything together. And by sharing everything, I mean, if I'm contributing 50-50 to the family, it shouldn't be a big deal to help me in cooking at times. It shouldn't be a big deal to wash up the kids. It shouldn't be a big deal to tidy up the house. We should learn to support each other. The main aim of any marriage that I feel is supporting each other. Because by the time you overstress your woman, you are gradually killing her unknowingly. And when she's gone, she's gone. So many women are out there hustling and all that, and they still come back home to face a whole lot, while the men sit to watch TV, claiming they are the head of the house. To me, it's a no-no. Let's do things together. If you truly love me, you wouldn't want me to be stressed. That's the truth of it. If you want me, you wouldn't be seated while I am up and doing, trying to make things okay for the both of us. While trying to care for the kids. There are some men that have never bathed their children. They don't even know how to, because they believe it's the woman's job. Some cannot even boil water because they believe it's the woman's job. But when it comes to paying bills, they believe, no, bring yours while I bring mine. To me, it's not fair. That is not fair.
Jim, can I add to what my sis Fumi is saying? For me, you're
Go ahead.
absolutely right. But I'm going to turn you back again to the root cause of what you're complaining about. One, you gotta make that list. You are expecting him to bathe the kids, or you're expecting him to help you cook. For me, please don't get me wrong, because I'm not supporting either. Either, whether it's a man or it's a woman, there's a problem. And that's why I really believe in this program, because I want us, after this program, each and every one of us, please take whatever you got out of it and please analyze it on your own time, pray and have wisdom and analyze it. All right? Nobody is right here, nobody is wrong. For me, you're going to ask yourself a question. Was this man taught how to do all these things growing up? Was he taught? His mother probably never taught him. Maybe because in our African land, the boys were asked, don't come near the kitchen. Was he
Yeah.
taught? That's one thing we need to put into consideration. Was he taught either to cook or to even bathe these children? Again, Am I blaming you that you hustled and now you're back, you're tired? If there is that love, and if during that cutting, during that, babe, I love you, babe, I love you, did we put all these cards on the table? Babe, look at your job, look at my job. What can you do? How can you come? Let's make this together, especially when the kid starts popping out, right? If we have all these discussion prior, then we'll be able to fail and say, what can this person do? What can this person do? See, this is why I love, let's have a dialogue prior to all, we're coming together. Because if we don't have that dialogue, we then begin to have this type of misunderstanding. We begin to feel, oh, the men, they are wrong, they are this, they are that. Then the men begins to feel, oh, the women, they're not listening, they're not submissive. No, it's not. We are not setting it up in the first place the right way. And that, because probably this person grew up with a mother who never allowed them to come to the kitchen. So they wouldn't know how to even cut the onions or even boil the hot water. They might not know. But because of that human ego, let me not call it men ego, human ego, the person might not come down and say, let me learn how to do this. Also, because they are shy, maybe another guy will say, you cook in the kitchen for your wife? That's human
Yeah.
ego. That's human ego. And
Yeah.
again, my take with all these things, this platform, is that we will continue to talk about this until we all get it. Let's all get it and then correct our mistakes. So let's say if I have children and they're all boys, I need to really sit them down. I need you to clean the bathtub. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. And I'm doing this because I want you tomorrow, whether you find a wife or you didn't find a wife, your apartment or your house needs to be cleaned. And if you start teaching them from the get-go, they will know how to do it and they will be able to do it. They're not going to then expect, oh, you are the woman, you are the only one who is going to do it. So there's various things we will all need to learn, and we will all need to come together and begin to have an honest, sincere dialogue before we get into a relationship.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. I think that was quite incisive. But before we continue, let me welcome Madam Mbori. Did I get that right?
Turn on your this
We
thing.
can hear you. Can you turn on your unmute yourself?
Okay, I was just saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. You said the name very, very correctly. Mbore. Hello, my honorable Chim and my honorable Neka and my honorable Fumi. Is the name Fumi or Bumi?
Fumi, you're correct.
Fumi. Oh my goodness. So well-rooted names that I came to deal with.
Thank
Now,
you.
people ask, what does Mbore mean? And some say, is it Mbore or Mborie? Now, in Igbo language, Ore, Molekwa is all related to something being effective, manifest, fruitful. Now, when you hear my name, Mbore, for me, is two words. The time that it is fruitful, the time it manifests, the time that all your effort is crowned. Ugbu ka ọ na-ere, or you Mbore. They may say Mbore, that's all right, but for me, Mbore. And that's by the way. But thank you guys. Thank you for having me in this beautiful panel. I appreciate.
Okay, so You're welcome. So the next thing I think I wanted to ask is, I just did a quick Google on the word or on the definition or meaning of marriage of convenience, and it says a marriage that is contracted other than for love. So I guess back again to our original point of conversation, because typically what we're trying to do, and I guess what electricity who had just joined us was trying to do, is to for us to analyze and see if originally, primarily, love was not at the foundation of that marriage, will both parties still be able to get love? Is it a lost cause? Is it still possible that love can still be accomplished? Or is it a no, no, it's been lost and the relationship is going to be based off whatever the reasons for contracting it was? So I don't know who wants to take off from there.
I just want to chip in something there. The Bible says when the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? You understand what I mean? In the world of today, do people really marry because of love? I think that's a big question on its own. Do people marry because of love? If you ask me, most people do not. In fact, most marriages now are based on benefits, what everybody stands to gain. You cited an example earlier. You said if you leave Canada and go to Nigeria to pick up a woman to marry, of course, she's not going to say no. So are we going to say that is love? No. It's all about what she's going to gain. And maybe for you too, it's all about what you're going to gain as well. So everybody, even in some years back, people say, oh, all women know is money, but you will be surprised that even men of these days are calculating who to marry. Most men don't want to marry liabilities any longer. You understand what I mean? They want somebody that can contribute to the growth of the family. There's no problem about that. But the question is, do people really marry for love? We still have people that do anyway. But most people, because I believe if you marry for love, you should be able to sustain it for a longer period of time. But we have so many homes being broken now, so many issues on social media, and you begin to wonder, even people that are married for 30, 40 years, you still have them getting a divorce. And you begin to wonder, what are you guys been doing for over 40 years? Why are you just divorcing now, you know? So that is my own concern about the topic.
I
Yeah,
I think at the end of it, this our topic. What I'm assuming that's exactly what electricity wants, is that we're trying to find a common ground to solve the problem that especially we Africans in diaspora are having. Am I right or I'm wrong? So because I don't think a marriage of convenience will
yeah.
work.
He,
It
he
won't
just he
work.
just he just nodded. He nodded to concur with you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, it wouldn't work. We must learn to. Again, I said it earlier. We need all of us in diaspora, and we must learn and really define what is love to us. What is that four-letter word? What does it mean to you? Because each and every one of us in this panel, it might mean something different for us until we are able to define it ourselves. We're not going to be able to move forward. If you guys will allow me to also share an example, many years ago, there were these two um, Nigerian couple that we went to one of the Nigerian parties in those days, and on our way back, they were quarreling. I mean, it was so they were bitterly quarreling, and they ended up in my apartment at that time. And so I say to the two of them, why are they fighting this way? The guy said to me, I left United States and I went home. I had a girl in my mind to go and marry. But while me and my cousin we were driving along Onitsha Road, I saw this my present wife. what I wanted, his major want was a woman with a backyard. I hope everybody understands what I mean by a backyard. Yes, if you don't, you let me know and I'll use another word. So, and this girl had that backyard. Do you think I'm going to fault him? And I'm going to say to some of our women, we must stop saying, oh, that person is a dog. Be careful how we use those words loosely. That's what he wants. I have no right to tell him he cannot want that. So I allowed him to say what he wanted. He said that was what attracted him to the wife. And then he started the proceeding. He then abandoned the one that he originally came for, because that one didn't have enough backyard. Okay? Because we must tell ourselves the truth. We all must tell ourselves the truth. And when I say the truth, the fundamental truth. So then here now I asked the wife, is that true? The wife said yes. That he also told the wife he would like the do 4 times a week. He's right by saying that. That's what he wants. He said that to her in Nigeria. Okay. I asked the wife, is that true? The wife said yes. I said, okay, why are you now denying him what you agreed? This is like, if you stop, that's a breach of contract. I asked the wife, why are you now stopping? She said, because now she's in the nursing school, she has all this assignment, she has children, she's tired. Does she have a point? Yes, she does. What the guy did not say to her when he acknowledged the backside, he acknowledged he wants it 4 times a week, is that he did not tell her, by the way, in America, you have to do this. There is no mother to help you hold the babies. There is no nannies. If we go for nanny, then some dollar will come out. You didn't say that in the equation. So, and I said to her, you're wrong for not keeping up to your own bargain, but you're wrong for not bringing out all this to tell her from Nigeria. America is not like Nigeria. So, guys, if we're able to talk all these things out from day one, then if I say yes to you, I will do the do 4 times a week. I have no right to deny you, no matter how tired I am, because you told me from day one. And if I deny you that, I'm looking for trouble then. I agreed to it. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if we want to stop all this thing that we, the Nigerians in diaspora, are doing to ourselves, let's be honest with ourselves and let's put the whole card on the table. And guess what? Because the woman was denying him that do, he stepped outside the marriage and had a baby. You're going to beat him up. Other women might say, oh, you're a dog. But before you call him a dog, get the whole data. What led him to step out? You know, I teach nurses, and I always say to nurses, you cannot come to the king size bed or queen size bed and put your whole textbook. And whenever he wants to do something, you push him away. Oh, I have assignment. Before you step into that nursing school or medical school, did you have a dinner and said, babe, I'm going into nursing school, I'm going into nursing program, and this is the demand. I'm going to be doing this many assignments, or do you just went in and got admission and then all of a sudden, boom, the whole king size bed, you fill it up with a medical textbook and nursing textbook. And when he wants to do something, you push him out. I'm not advocating for anybody to go and cheat, but if he goes out, this is a natural thing. And if he goes out to cheat on you, you then start, oh, he cheated. You pushed him into doing it. You need to talk to him before you start that program and get his consent. Ask him, babe, please, I really need your full support. So then he kind of can cut his desire a little bit. That's what love does for two people. He will cut his desire a little bit. And the night that he needs it, just move the goddamn textbook off the bed, because the textbook was not really meant for those beds. Do your assignment in the study room. Because we send direct and indirect messages to each other. Yes.
So I think I like this direction you've gone in, and at this point, I want to bring Imbore.
Why are you liking it? Is it because I'm talking about the men? I don't need you to be partial. Okay.
No, not at all. Why I'm saying I like this is the summary of all I took away from everything with your analogies is the aspect of sitting down to have a
dialogue.
Dialogue, exactly. And I think it's practically, I wouldn't say it's lacking. It does exist once from bit to bit. But I think most of the time, when most of our people get married, even in the marriage of convenience, people hardly sit down these days to have a conversation to say, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? 10 years from now, beyond us being married, what do you want to accomplish in life? How do I fit into those goals? How do you fit into my own goals? You know, how many children do you want us to have? And all
Chim, not to interrupt you, I also want you, by the time you finish what you're saying, we need to ask what stops us from doing that. Is it fear? Okay. And if it's fear, what are we afraid of?
Okay, so I'm going to throw in and then ask More to chip in. From experience, I don't think it's fear. I think that when two young or grown-up people want to come together, usually the non-important things tend to be the things in front of them. Sometimes it's having sex, yes. Sometimes it's that they are partying, yes. Sometimes it's that the guy is consistently taking her out and all that. They barely even have time to say, okay, let's even go and have this dinner and have a conversation. And it's because they don't have those conversations, even if it is that the guy went back to Nigeria and took a wife, you'll find out that they never sat down to discuss deeply. And as a result, when the chip begins to, the rubber starts meeting the road, we begin to see that there is a lot of infighting. So at this point, Mbori, let's have your perspective. We can hear you on mute.
All right. I see every day as ecstatic and like beyond crown of glory. And today, my daughter usually says, oh yeah, you are blessed today, like every day, and your blessing is always endless. I just go past her because I watched 2 days ago. That's another corner. Okay, I watched 2 days ago where Dr. Neka featured. And my seeing her again today buttresses the fact that when I think I've lost a thing, I just don't look for it with the fervor I used to look for things before. And I go to do the things, to attend the things I have seen. Lo and behold, what I should have been looking for is on the inside those things that I diverted myself to go and do. I am so thankful to see you today, Dr. Neka. I really am. We will all come to the understanding of why I said that. Now, in the case of this marriage, convenience, love, A gentleman I listened to, and I think the first person that I heard it from before is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She said something to the effect of, unlearn what we had learned and see where it will take us. Marriage of convenience. If you ask me, okay, I wasn't here when you started, so if I touch anything you've gone past before, it's just, I'll blame it on that. And when I want to talk and I boo-boo, I blame it on being great grandma. I excuse it. Hey, you know, I'm great grandma. My thinking is all to be in a lighter mood. But marriage of convenience, having kids, what do we value? And what really is your value? What do you hold to? What is significant for you in life? This, my friend that I mentioned earlier on that I learned from, said, where is the consumer manual? Where is the something manual? We call it, like if you buy a new set, there's a manual that comes with it on how to use it. That which it is for a human being is not attached. Actually, I did very good in midwifery. And from the first day I started learning midwifery till 42 years after, nobody has, on that delivery, whether the doctor was there or I conducted it as a midwife or here in labor and delivery, nobody has ever come out with a manual on their back. So it becomes very, very clear that paying attention is the manual. And how many people pay attention to what? Where that you have to exert control here, exert it over there, and it comes from both men and women. What really do we need to traverse this beautiful journey? Nobody pays attention to that. So long as what I say becomes supreme. My son was one day telling me how the woman she will marry will be and what he will tell her to do. And I said, that woman has never been an individual, has never been a human being. Everything about what that woman will do when you marry her is according to what you dictate. How can we change the roles at any point? No, after all, if I used all my money to, I have not spent a whole lot of time in marriage. Maybe I've spent a month or so in it. So I cannot say I know what it is, but looking from outside, we will all, if we don't see it, for me, it looks like the take we have, and it's when I spent some time in America, I found out that it is worldwide. It's not only in Africa or in Nigeria or in Igbo land where I am a little bit conversant with. So unlearn and relearn. When the issue is the physique of the human being. Just before I came to America, a good friend, a man came to marry her. Boy, this man was handsome, beyond handsome. Come 2 or 3 months, there was a fire that broke out. And this man was burnt to something else, but was still breathing. And Lillian didn't want to marry him anymore. I really was hurt. I was really hurt. I have been want to think in a queer way that I don't go along with everybody. I don't. I figure things out. So I was like, Lillian, you are crazy. She said, no, Victoria, just look at him. Just look at him. That was Lillian. If a man now goes after, or a woman goes after the looks, we all know where it lands us. We all know where it puts things. What people call love. Whoa. I don't even know that I know love. I just found out what trust is about a month or two ago when somebody told me that trust is not that which you expect of somebody, they did it, or that there are expectations you have from somebody. It is knowing how that person deals with stuff and knowing that whether that person is there or not, there is a way that person will deal with that stuff. I said, oh, because if that person is doing anything how I thought that should be done, that is no trust. So when we look at love, when we, like Dr. Neka said, it also ramifies to what really is it? Are you looking for a companion that will take you as you are? And who knows that the difference between two of you can bring out the best thing in this world? Or are you looking for, yes, sir. Oh, no, sir. Oh, no, oh, because my husband, and if it wasn't my, what are we looking for? If that gentleman came to you, told you all that he wants and all that how he wants things to be done, and if I was anywhere around, I would just tell the woman, consider what you want. If you don't know what you want, give yourself another year or two to figure out what you want. Now, oh, my biological clock. Look at what we have all over the world called children. Just look at it. Look at the mess we have, children, so that your mate doesn't tell you, oh, how come? A fellow nurse came to me once and said, you know, Ngozi, I forgot the last name and it's irrelevant, came to me and said, Sekim, I'm not talking to you anymore because you are the only one that have never asked me why I'm not pregnant. I said, Sek, you are enough for me. I don't even know you. Why will I be expecting what your product would be? I don't know you. I just know you are Ngozi. She said, anyway, you are queer. I said, now when you knew that, why did you come to ask me? So husband, parents, mates want you to know that your biological clock, and you are just open. Anybody that comes, even if the person is doesn't look like an amoeba. Oh, wait. Where is our value? What do you hold important? So I want to stop because I can ramble on for the whole day. It is one of the main points we should unlearn what we have learned and know that if this person walks in and see a clean plate, it is a plate to eat with. It don't matter who cleaned it. And if you take a clean plate and get done eating, would you, without anybody reminding you, wash it? Because you might be the one to need that plate again.
Thank you.
Love dictates that if you can wash it and it is the other person that needs it, then boy, you are in love. I'll shut up for now, please. I'm sorry. I submit.
Chim Chim, you're muted. But please, Chim, before I know you wanted to talk and run, can I answer Fumi?
Yeah.
Oh, Fumi, oh, my sincere apology. I'm not taking away all the responsibility and putting it all on women. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm going both ways. I'm really emphasizing on us having a dialogue before we start any union. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that men are right and that the women should take all the blames. Please, my sis, that's not what I mean. I'm telling you that it goes both ways. It's not just one sided. And my sister Mbori just also said to what I'm saying. The thing is that when people are talking, just pay attention. Maybe we're using different words, but we're arriving at the same conclusion.
Okay.
I will be just less than 1 minute, and you will see I'll be less than 1 minute. So a point that is of very, very high importance for me is panelists. Study has shown that some men, some women, even if that big bobo-zoomed wife had come and did everything that is listed and unlisted, some still will run outside for side. Thank you.
Okay. So the question I wanted to put, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Alicia, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so the because I can see there's a bit of a lag, so I wasn't sure if I was coming out properly. But the question I want to ask is this: Dr. Neka, you rightly alluded to the fact that we are in a new generation where the values are changing. We can understand it. So recently, I read about two celebrities, and we know that here in the Western world, the issue of what they call is it prenatal agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Help me if I'm wrong.
You're right. Prenup. You're
So
right.
they do those things. Okay, a prenup. So we find that it could be the guy who trying to protect his assets will make sure that if there's a reason to divorce or to separate, nobody comes after his resources and all that. We're starting to see that also be the case back home. Now, in the light of this topic, what do you think? Is it, even though we're in a modern era, is it an acceptable way to go in marriage? Does it show love? Because I thought marriage was supposed to be that both parties come to the table plain, and whatever they have, I'm taught that it is not your money, it is our money. If I earn 60 million and you earn just $10, so it is 60 plus my $10, and we share and use it equally responsibly for the family. So I don't know what you want to say in the light of this modern trend, which is creeping into our African societies here in the diaspora, even back home.
Let me say, I'm going to my sis Mbori. Can I please say something with the last thing that you said about desire? There's nothing wrong in it. There's nothing wrong in it. It can come with a man. It can come with a woman. But again, remember, when there's that dialogue, and a man says to me, "I cannot go without it for a week," it's then during that dialogue for me to say to myself, am I equal to the tax?
Understood.
I must not succumb because, again, with what you said, maybe I'm so panicky that my biological clock is leaving me. So then I will say yes to him, knowing that he has confessed to me. Everybody's desire is different, and again, for me personally, I will never insult anybody with their desire. And again, for me to say that even whatever the woman gives that man, that the man still steps outside the family, there's always a reason for that. something is happening. All I'm saying is that if there's a dialogue from the beginning of this union, then we will be able to, know where we stand with things. That's where how I'm going to leave it with what you said. I know it might come up again, but let me go back to what Chim is saying about prenuptial agreement.
Please, please,
This is
can I just say one thing there? I didn't just say man will go outside. I said
okay.
either man or woman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also what I'm answering you goes, guys, whatever I'm saying here is not one-sided, because women are bad, men are bad. So please know that I'm coming from both angles. It doesn't have to be just one-sided. I never support because they're women, and I will never support because they're men. Okay. When it comes to prenup, this NECA, if you come to me tomorrow that you want me and you bring up that word, prenup, the relationship is over. It will not go further. For me, some people will say they will go for it. Because for me, the way I analyze that prenup is that I'm planning, even though I'm not saying it out, I'm planning, I'm making provision for that divorce. Just like I say to so many people, if I'm living with you today as my spouse, my boyfriend, the moment you call NYPD for me, that's it. It's over. It's over. That relationship is over. Whatever that you and I cannot solve inside that bedroom and you call NYPD, I don't care how much roses you bring to me later. I don't want it. That's me. But any other person can accept. See, that's why I keep saying, before we start this relationship, let's each and every one of us, whether you're a man, you're a woman, what do you look forward to have? And why are you looking forward to have this? Jim, earlier on, you said something about love, and I asked you, what stops us from having dialogue from the beginning of the relationship? What stops us? Is it fear? Oh, well, if I tell you, I get corny every minute, will you run away and say, oh, she's going to kill me? Is it fear? And until we identify why we avoid certain discussion, we're not going to move forward past our problem. All I'm saying here is, let's have a dialogue. Let's be courageous enough to tell you, I'm going to be courageous enough to say to you, this is who I am. One time I went to Nigeria and a guy saw me and said to me, why is it that you don't put powder in your face? Why don't you put lipsticks on your face? I said, I don't like those things. You see, even though he wasn't coming directly to tell me I would like a woman that has powders on their face, but just him mentioning that, I gave him right back my answer. Because I'm not going to put those powders to please you, because I don't like it. Many a times, for some of you who are Igbos on this panel, I use udako, made out of palm kernel. I use that on my face. Does must I use Fenty from Rihanna? No, really. Again, why am I doing this? I know who I am. I'm totally proud of who I am. So one thing I will promise you is that I'm not going to smell. But every other thing you're looking for, that's your business. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I'm not going to add any backyard to please you. I won't do that because I'm afraid of anesthesia. So I'm not going to sit on the surgery to please you. Neither will I add anything in the front to please you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Am I saying you're bad for demanding those things? No. Get me right. But all I'm saying is that whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, put every card on the table and let the person choose what they want. Don't lie to anybody. Because that's where our problem is stemming from. That's what leads us. Oh, your mother can come into my house, or your father can come into my house. Guy, how can I love you if I don't love your mother or your father, especially your mother that carried you 9 months and gave you oxygen? If she didn't deliver you, nurture you, will I see you to call you babe? Let's be for real. Can I see you to call you babe? So I owe her a lot of respect. Am I also saying there's certain mother-in-laws that are really, really controlling and bad? And last time in this panel, I told you guys I have one son. The moment I delivered him and I knew he's just the only thing that I have, I made a vow I will never be in his way. With all I do was prayer that he finds his mate and live happily ever. But no, he's on his own. He's a man. I cannot intervene in his marriage. I can't. I must respect that. He's my only son, so what? I'm a human being, and I'm an individual of my own. He's an individual of his own. So I cannot, move into his life and dictate what he does and what he doesn't do. So again, whatever we discuss here today, I will continue to go back. We must understand what that 4-letter words means, love. We must also have a dialogue at the beginning, and an open, sincere dialogue without any fear. We must, and if a woman feels like their biological clock is going, we have technology today that you can store the egg somewhere in the freezer and use it whenever. If you feel like you want to use it at the age of 70, good. No man should come to me now and tell me I want to have a baby. I will ask the man, are you out of your racco mind? That's my first question to the man. Are you out of your racco mind? How am I going to run after this baby? I'm not going up, I'm going down. I'm getting older, so I'm not going to do it for any man. Even if the person pays me 200 million, I'm not going to do it. Even if you tell me, oh, you're going to hire nannies for me, my answer will still be no, I'm not delivering any baby for you. So I'm just going to be very authentic with you, So I think being honest, for me, I'm not going to ever consider any pre-nurture. I don't have nothing for you to. And again, if you have your millions, I wouldn't really need it, personally, at this point. If your family wants something, we'll give it to your family. If you want to donate it to the charity, we'll donate it there. But I feel like prenuptial agreement is a way of saying, this might not last long. So let's guide ourselves.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nick. I want to thank every one of you and those in the comment section. Actually, I know Chima has left. I just enjoy sitting down listening, to be honest. Honestly speaking, Chima has left. Chim, if you're listening, thank you very much for sitting up for me. So thanks very much. The gentlemen have not interjected for only one reason. We are not talking politics, so they're just the way they put their head down and they're just they're just absorbing whatever it is, which is good. It's good that we are away from politics.
No, but the electricity, you must allow Prince Akwachi and Tone to say something.
They will say something. Like I said, Modanika, it's not politics. That's why they've not interjected. If it's politics, they would have beaten our head off that they are here. We are overlooking them. It's not politics. So they are not complaining. Don't worry about it. If it's politics, you would have seen the fight. I'll come to you, Madam Gore. Okay. Tone and Mazi Prince.
Akwachi.
Mazi Akwachi. I'm
Mhm.
just highlighted a comment on the platform now. It says challenges in marriage are not worldwide, but Western Africans were taken away from their culture and sold another culture. Go to Hungary, you will see how they value culture, traditions, and family. The first question would have been: is Hungary not in the Western world? It is in the Western world. Do you mind weighing in on it, either Tone or Mazi first, please? Then we'll go to Tone.
Electricity. Pretty much it's afternoon over here. Good afternoon, and Dr. Neka, nice to
Mhm.
see you, and the other panelists. I don't know where wherever. Good afternoon, good evening. Some will be good morning, depending on
Mm.
where they're listening from. Um, yes, I came in and I overheard what was being said. Um, for me, if I have to weigh in, I have to weigh in first and foremost as person who is living the life, the marriage life, and also as somebody who is in the therapy ward. I would try as much as possible to separate both so that they don't conflict with each other. First and foremost, let me start by saying what is marriage? Marriage is a journey of two people to the unknown, meaning that yes, we can say, oh, it's forever. Yes, it's forever. It is forever. But at the same time, it also depends very much on the foundation on which the marriage is being laid. I really appreciate when Dr. Neka said something about dialoguing before marriage, which is very vital. Um, if I use myself as an example, I'm in a marriage with someone who I have known for, I would say, about 30 years now. Now, 30 years knowing her, and at the same time, 11 years in actual marriage. I know some people will say, "Oh, you dated somebody for how many years? 20 years before?" No, not at all. That was not the case. The main reason why I said 30 years is I married someone who happened to be my classmates in university and who happened to be in the university setting. We always have the three sets of people. There are people who sit in front, there are people who sit in the middle, there are people who sit at the back. So my wife is those who sits in the front. I am those who sits in the middle and those who sits at the back. We're always the ones mediating between the front and the back. We're just the good guys that don't want no trouble. Those in front are those ones who we attribute them to be assistant lecturers. They are the ones that really hears everything and knows everything, which is fine. Um, but the thing is this: were we friends while in school? No, we were not friends. We were not friends. We only acknowledge each other. But then when after school, everybody went their way and and all that stuff. And some, as fate will have it, we reconnected at some point. And guess what? We're living the best life, the best life. What I could attribute, I'm living the best, the best of my life now. Yes, when you said, love, yes, love is pretty much advice. However, a woman doesn't really owe any man that portion to love. We are supposed to nurture our women. We are supposed to love them. You know, if I use kind of like when you see something like, let's say you see something like ego. they nurture, they kind of like nurture their kids and other kind of a thing. Somebody will say, oh, they're not your kids, so why would you nurture them? That's a different thing for another day. Now the thing is this: most marriages, when we talk about marriage of convenience, some men go into those marriage with a lot of expectation, you know um and based on the fact that in the real sense, nobody can teach anybody marriage. Nobody was even our parents learned marriage. They learned how to live with each other and live it the best way we can. There could be an influence somehow, some way, because pretty much whatever you do in your marriage, your kids learn from that. So they see all those things. One of the pillars, one thing that that happened to me is that I got so lucky that I never saw my parents ever quarrel. So that right there was a very positive thing for me. No matter if how they will have their differences or their problem, they will sort. They know how to sort it in their. They sort it out whichever way. But they never allow us to know what it is
Mm.
or how. Whatever it is. That's number one. Number two, is just that, especially when people, I would say particularly the diasporans, when they go to Nigeria, they want to marry a woman that they want to dominate, you know forgetting the fact that things have evolved. And when I'm saying it in terms of the male, and also I'm gonna say it in terms of the female. In terms of the male, you know you have to be considerate, knowing fully well that you married this woman. Probably when you married her from Nigeria, and then you brought her here. Like we said, she was in she's in nursing school and all that kind of a thing. You have to also be able to be creative in helping in the house. Some men would have. I've had a friend told me, he came to my, he called me, and I told him I was kind of like doing some dishes. And the next thing he said, "You doing dishes?" I said, "Yes, I'm doing dishes. Is there anything wrong with it?" I knew he was gonna say something, and I dared him to say it, but he kept his mouth shut. I said, "Good, better. You don't even say it." You know, we have to learn. It's kind of like you learn each other. I encourage dating. I encourage people to date. Learn the person you want to marry before you even get into it. Learn
Mazi,
them.
Mazi, let me
Yeah,
let me let me interrupt you. I'll bring you
sure.
to the. Let me interrupt you and bring you to the main topic. The floor is still yours. Uh,
Okay.
the main topic is love and commitment achievable in a marriage of convenience is wide. It's broad. It's
It's
so
broad. Hmm.
it's but what we're looking at is this that uh, particularly among diasporans, not even going home. When I was preparing for this program, I asked my daughter to weigh in because she wants to work in anime, and she said, "Listen, it's common when it comes to immigration issues where people are contracted and they marry each other." So the question is, it is convenient at that moment, even though they got married. Is love and commitment achievable in that marriage? And
Yes.
if not, because we need to prevent because if we don't love each other,
Uh-oh.
marriage is like Donica said, she's our guest. Questions should be thrown at her, or should be thrown at her, not at me. I'm just moderating. So she's the one that have all the answers to the question. So we want to know, is love and commitment achievable? If yes, how? If no, why not? So that's the topic.
Sure. So pretty much, yes, it's achievable. Like I said, it's all about understanding. It's all about, you know, let go of that ego, that pride. Oh, as African man, I will sit down, the woman will come back, cook, and we eat. She'll be the one to wash the plate and all that. And the thing is this, okay? Well, if I'm speaking, this is, on the male side. On the female side, I also want to say this. Men are very easy human beings. So men are very easy human beings. What do I mean by men are very easy human beings? Like when we talk about do, some people always think that when they talk about the do, it's all about, you know, putting it in and all that stuff. No, there are other ways you can even nurture a man into, you can treat a man to the extent that before you know it, he will slip off. He will slip off, and he will love, the fact that you were able to come to his aid when he needed you most. So it's kind of like, the thing is this: some women feel they bring the religion aspect of, they bring all this religion into all this thing, and then before you know it, like I said before, it's all about let the two people. I'll borrow from Dr. Neka, dialogue. Look at their strengths, understand each other, and at least when you say compromise, it doesn't mean that you are giving away that your man right. No, you're not giving away that your man right. It's just you are building your family. You are making it much better, but to the extent that that it benefits everyone. Let me
Sorry,
rest my case now
sorry,
on this until you come back to me.
Mazi, Mazi, are you driving?
Yes, I am.
Oh no, no, I'm sorry, it's
No,
not
no, no,
some.
brother. No, no, no.
No,
Let me rest. I'm resting my
no,
case for now. I'm
Mazi,
resting my case.
Mazi,
I will
Mazi.
just listen to
We're
others.
not. The policy is if somebody is driving for safety reasons. I did not realize until I looked
I
closer.
know. Earlier,
So
earlier I was not driving.
yeah, I
Earlier
know.
I was not driving. I just started driving. That's why I'm resting my case for now. I'm
All
resting
right,
my
thank you
case
very
so that
much.
someone else will pick up.
All right, thank you very much.
Uh,
Uh, Tone, do you want to? Paul, welcome. Mr. Blackstone, welcome. Thanks for joining in. Dr. Nika is the guest here. I'm just moderating, and the conversation has been flowing. And those in the comment section, the best comment section I've had in months now. Nobody's throwing. So I think we'll stick to love now because politics there's always a fight there. So you see, love makes us one. So Tone, if you have any question for Dr. Nika, throw it at her. If you have any comment, Madam Gore, I've not forgotten you. I'll come back to you. So Tone, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna put in my view. Love and commitment is not possible in marriage or contracts, and most marriages we have today within the Nigerian society, from observation, 90%, if not 95%, is based on one thing or the other. It's not about pure love. Now, um, if you meet a girl, for instance, the parents will want to know how much you earn, what you do, and how much is earned. There's nothing bad in finding out whether you work, because in the first place, marriage is not for kids; it's for grown-ups. But they want to know that you need to earn so much, and a lot of people go into marriage because the person's financial status. I've had cousins that went into such marriages, and it all ended in tears. Um, Now, the question is, why is it so? Maybe the older generation really was their marriage was really based on love. And I'm going to use um, my part of the country, the Igbo people, as an example. Back then, when you want to um, do your wine carrying or whatever you call it, and all that, you it was a very intimate affair. It was a what we call parlor, if I want to use that word, parlor affair. So you had your close uncles, and maybe you have one or two close friends. But right now, it seems we have just borrowed the tradition of the Yorubas and all that. Of you have to close out the street, you have to borrow money to do something elaborate. A lot of people do these things to outdo each other. They can't afford it. So the real essence, a lot of people prepare for the wedding day, whether be it traditional or the white wedding, but very very little people prepare for marriage. Like Prince Akwati said, that it's marriage is a journey, is a process. Now, Dr. Neka was talking about the intimacy part of it. I see that. See, at the end of the day, me for one, I can only marry who's somebody that I find friendship in. Now, when it comes to being intimate and all that, it doesn't have to be. It's not something that you count as if you're writing a timetable at work and all that. It comes naturally, it's spontaneous. It's something that is spontaneous. So if it's spontaneous coming from the heart, no matter how tired you are, or no matter how less busy you are, it just happens. It happens, especially when the children are not there. It happens anywhere, everywhere, and anywhere. It could happen once, and both of you be fulfilled. It could happen every day. But so there is no written rule, so to say. So marriage of convenience is what we see today, unfortunately. Every girl, when you check out a girl, you start talking to her, she wants to know what you wear and all that. But unfortunately, our society now, we all live a fake life. A lot of people live fake life. I was checking out a girl some time ago in Nigeria, and she asked me what I did. I told her that I work. She was so particular to find out what I did and all that. I said, I work. I get paid. I said, then I told her that I am a bean man. I wasn't a bean man. That people that are bean men is not like the bean men in Nigeria and all that. They make a lot of money. She said, really? Am I serious? I said, yeah. I said, I'm a bean man. I'm me. I'm a wind-up artist. I went to the extreme of getting a uniform of a bean man and wore one and took a picture and sent it to her. Even though I have sent her some money, cut the whole story short, that was the last time she spoke to me in a while. Then later, she got to find out who I was really, what I was about, that I wanted to find out her reaction. But it was too late because he just told me the kind of value system that she has. So a lot of people, I think men are very men are not focused when it comes to women. Like you, the example you gave just before I came into the studio about some guy going somewhere, and he saw some girl with a very good backside, and he lost it. I'll call it lost. That means you don't even know. She doesn't. I'm sure that he doesn't even love or cherish the original girl, because if you know what you want, yeah, if you know what you want and all that, you don't look left or right. And but when you have your girl with you as well and all that, is it disrespect checking out other girls, no matter how pretty the other girl is? You don't do that. So society society have starting from family have failed to nurture the girl child. The girl child is not nurtured for marriage. the girl child is just brought up and all that. They look out for things they shouldn't be looking out for. They don't look at potentials. They don't look at good name. It's just about money. Whether you a Yahoo person or whether you're a fraudster and all that, that's all that matters. The end justify the means. So that's
Thank
my
you very much.
position for now. Thank you.
Don't said something which I have heard several times, and I find it difficult to fathom, or I lost that English word. Don't said marriage is not for kids but for adults. How do we define, what yardstick do we use to define who is a kid, who is an adult? Is it by age, by money, or by what? I've heard that statement several times, that marriage is not for kids but for adults.
Maturity in marriage is not about age. A lot of people are in their 30s and they are just so immature. Some
Well,
people in their 40s they are so
what do you
immature.
use? What are the factors you use to determine that this person is matured and this person is kid? Let me give it to Paul. I'll come to you, Blackstone. I'll come to you. Madam Mineka, can you please weigh in on that for us, please?
Mm.
You are muted. Okay.
I'm going to weigh in on it, electricity, but I'm not going to go deeper because what the topic you're bringing up now is a whole different topic from what we are talking about. And again, remember I told you this topic is going to be bringing out certain things, and I want you to jot it down so that it will be a different day. And the reason I keep saying that is so that whatever topic we deal with, I really want people to walk out of it and be able to use it to put a change in their life. Let me address one or two things that Tone said. You said it's not pure love anymore. But if you say that that word is not pure love anymore, why is that? We must answer that question. Why is it not pure love anymore? Again, let that topic stay one place. You also talked about what the girl did. Let me tell you, I'm in with you on that one, and hopefully I'll be able to share something similar to what you did. I'm very good at that, and I will tell you how it ended. And my thing with you there, I'm really glad you did not continue that relationship. Again, it brings us back to that dialogue or making that list. What is it that you want in a woman? What is it that you want in a man that you want to raise kids with? We must go back to that drawing table. Each and every one of us in this panel, our list will be different. Tone, what I said about the backside, he was not with the girl that he went home originally with in the car. He was driving in the car with his cousin. So the girl was not in that car. But what I'm saying to you is that he left United States with a girl in his mind. But then as he was driving and saw this one and felt that, this backside is probably one of the things he wants in his list. We're not faulting him. So our lists are going to be different. Whatever is in your list, what I do not want anybody to say, why will you put that? Why will you? No, that's what that individual wants. And so what each and every one of us want is going to be different.
Well, Dr.
And if,
Dr. Neka, with men, yeah, we
yeah,
are intrigued by what we see, and men and women are about what they hear. So if you are not, and that's where the maturity comes in that I'm talking about. So if you
mhm.
are not careful, what you see will lead you astray. You'll get it all wrong.
Okay, let's say you are saying that men are just by what they see and women are about what they hear. Okay. Okay, let's say that I am somebody in my list. All the things I'm going to hear, and please, let's take, for example, you are the dude coming after me. What I'm hearing about you, is that what is in my list? Because if it's not in my list, and I say this list can be 10 points. If you achieve 80, you're good. Don't expect to achieve the whole 100. If you achieve 80 out of this 100, you're good. because no human being will you ever. But if you do not start off with a list, what do you want? Then you'll tend to be swearing, oh, is this? Is it this? Is it that? And again, Ton, you made mention of a parent asking their daughter, what kind of job does this man do? Parents should stay away from what children want, because what my mother tolerated in my father might not be what I, Neka, will tolerate in a man tomorrow. Neither will my son tolerate what I tolerated. So it's very wrong for a parent to ask their daughter, what does this man do? I will not encourage parents to do that. But
Dr.
you
Nick,
can still
sorry for
advise you.
interrupting you, Dr.
Yeah,
Nick.
go ahead.
Yeah. Don't you think it's out of it could be out of genuine concern? For example, I come to you, I want to marry, I'm going out with your daughter, and I come with these flashy cars and all those things that kind of is it not right for you to now ask your daughter, listen, this man, what does he really do? Yesterday he came with an Infinity car. What's this new latest car now? Last week he came with that car.
Rolls Royce.
No, this car by Elon Musk. What's the name of that car?
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. That the side mirror can build a house in my village.
Yeah.
So is it not? I mean, is it not trying to safeguard the child?
Again, from what Tone said earlier, Tone, if I'm correct, Tone, please, if I'm not, correct me. There's two ways about it. If it's that yes, you're absolutely right that a parent should inquire to make sure my daughter is not going into any danger. That's one aspect of a parent's inquiring. But if a parent is inquiring based on, I want to have a son-in-law that is going to build a house for me, that's also a different thing. So again, when we are looking at things, from what angle are we saying what we're saying? I wouldn't want my daughter to go in and marry a man that is probably in a cult, spilling blood, drugs. I wouldn't want my daughter to do all that. I will advise my daughter, please, you don't need to go into this. But I will not also say to my daughter, oh, this your husband is a garbage picker. I don't want you to go with him. What makes you think that he will be a garbage picker for the rest of his life? He might not. He might be very motivated. At this moment, this is what he's doing. So if you truly love him, support him. Sometimes if somebody gives you support and motivates you, you can build up something. So there's two ways of what. That's why I said we have to be very careful. Whatever topics that comes out, and if it's not what we are dealing with right now, make it a different topic for next time, so that we do not confuse ourselves. So it could go both ways. Is it that this person is not legitimately making their money? Obviously, I won't want my child to go with them. That's a point. But if it's because they're not up to the level, they don't have PhD, they didn't go to school, no. If that's what my daughter wants, I would tell my daughter, in Igbo land, they will say, bonya agwa januku, so that it will grow. Support. So there are two different things.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Paul, just a moment, please. Madam Ngora, do you want to weigh in on it briefly before I yield the floor to Paul? Then I go to Blackstone. Do you have anything to weigh in on it to say?
Well, all right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Right. When you say weigh in on it, you mean on the whole thing we are here for, or on?
No, you raised your hand some time back, and I said I was going to come back to you. So
all right, thank you. there are things that really, really are it for me. One is convenience. The other is love. And then what exactly will grow you into a useful human being for that marriage and in general? I don't know if it makes sense how I put it. Now, the ability to understand, okay, just, that you should take time to know for yourself, to, put things straight as to, if this happens, this is where it will lead me. If this happens, that is where it will lead me. Now, until you do that, to become a couple with somebody else, you are confused. Oh, well, you don't know how clear the person you are coupling with is. Then the confusion is, bound to spill from you to the rest of whoever is around. So now, from inception, I beg to differ that our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents married out of love. No, they didn't. I will talk from my perspective. My father married 7 wives. First 6 were given to him because he was very well-to-do. The 7th one ended up to be my mother, and she received it from everybody. Some of the ones he married, he never saw them until the day he married them. Some were married and kept for him, so that when he comes back, he just takes them back to where he lived. So, not then. When people now talked about what they saw as, okay, even as, okay, one thing that has been from there till today is people tend to marry where they think what will sustain them in life, abides. I will marry you if I am whether you're a man or a woman and your father is well-to-do. I will marry you if I think your brother will give me the post that I'm looking for. I will marry you if any and everything bet for what can sustain 2 human beings, and they live in such a way that they will add to themselves, and the environment they find themselves in is completely out of the question. Now, before long, my mother used to ask me, so how come you don't want to get married? And I used to say, Mama, my values are very different from where I grew up. I think, usually I used to say, I'm not going to marry somebody that has not married because they have no clue what to do. The experience. Of course, if a woman says that, or if a man says that, most of the times, maybe it's because of where I grew up. A man wants to marry a virgin. And this is the man that may not be satisfied with what this virgin is doing, because the virgin doesn't know how to act to make the do a good experience. How would she know how to make? She is a virgin. And you are going out to go and see people who can put you to sleep just because of what they can do. You see the contradiction there? So now, I used to tell, just wait. I used to tell my mom, If I should get married, Mama, I want to live with a human being, to know what he is like in summer, in autumn, in winter. I want to know who I am going to be married with. A man said, well, Ngozi, I want to marry you because, for your information, my formal name is Victoria Ngozi, but I prefer Mbore. So, Ngozi, I want to marry you. You know me. I tell them, no, I don't know you. When we went to school together, I said, no, you always liked me. And whenever you saw me, you would present those things you know I like. I don't know you. Now, in it all, when anybody will say, I used to think that if you lived with them and you know what they like and you know how they can handle what they don't like, then you'll be able to say, yes, I will go on with this relationship, or no, I won't. But the world is not set like that. Now, I brought my two boys up. One is my mother, our last born from my mother, and the other one is my son. In a way that their wives call and say, thank you. The first time my brother's wife started doing that thank you call, and I will check, what did I do? When did I do it? So why is this? Okay, why are you thanking me, Mercy? She said, every day my husband wakes up and makes the breakfast and gets the children ready for school. Especially if we came back late from market, she would say, all that you went through yesterday, honey. The first day he called the lady honey. My mom says, so why are you calling her honey? Don't you like her name Mercy? You want to rename her honey? So that's just the lighter, mood of it. But you want to see, and this lady was always like that. Okay, when they come to where I live, this one will boast. You see, when I make that bed, when I'm done making the bed, it looks like an army that is ready to discharge. This one says, hey, if I make a goosey soup for you until you know now, it will be, amen.
Okay, Madam Mugore, sorry for interjecting you. I pick on one or two things you said. I will come back to you.
Thank you.
Later on. Paul, I'll give the floor to you, then I'll go to Mr. Blackstone. But Madam Mugore, stay there. I'll come back to you. Paul, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So on a lighter note, when Tone talk about the garbage thing, it just makes me laugh because I am thinking to go get my CDL license to even drive that truck. I am telling you, because they have very fantastic insurance that can take care of me. I am aging. So I am really looking for something that will give me very good health insurance. It's not about money any longer. You understand? So these are the things. But some other person may not even understand the benefit of why some people are doing these things, So now when it comes to marriage, in terms of contract, we in the diaspora, I think it's very, very tough. Arukeli said something. He said, when a woman loves, he tells the world all the good things about love. But then Michael Bolton said something that I like so much. He said, how can we be lovers when we are not friends? Oftentimes, some of us don't understand the power of friendship. All we think, in most cases, we think about love. I love my parents. I love my siblings. But sometimes what we call we love is just the DNA we bonded in one room together. But when we start growing up, we started making relationships and everything. The people we call our friend, we confide on them so much that they know so much about us that our parents don't know, our siblings don't know. Even when I have a younger brothers that have grown up to be a man like myself, I have elder brothers that have grown up to be a man like myself. They don't really know much about me, but the people I call my friends, they know a lot about me. So we don't really understand the importance of friendship. And when we talk about friends, it comes with a great, great sacrifice. Sacrifice in the sense that I need to sacrifice myself to learn to understand the woman I want to deal with, to follow that woman watch Telemundo. Like I'm equally expecting the woman to also follow me watch my soccer. So these are all the things. Those little things, we don't really validate those things. While we're growing up, we say, oh, when we're watching ball in our house, our sisters don't even come around. Our mothers don't come around. So even though a woman that wants to join me watch soccer, sometimes I'm not comfortable. This is the mistake because I want to watch it with my fellow men. Man, this Chelsea match today is going to be fun. We don't want our wife to be there. We don't want our girlfriend to be there. But we fail to understand that these things build relationship. Like I
Paul,
tell
let me
people,
let me interrupt you there. I
right?
think you said we don't want our women to be there. Is it the case we don't want, or they are not interested in football? Let's
So
let's
now,
be honest with our.
so
Is it
so so I want that is true. So I
I'm
want to.
sorry, Madam Minika, are you interested in football? The answer is no.
So yes, the answer is no. But I just want to blame because we
All right, go
sometimes
ahead.
we watch these things like the ladies also do these things. We watch these things like they say the locker room talk, like the ladies also in the salon, they busy talk about men. Because oftentimes when we watch this soccer, we talk about our past life, we talk about our old relationship. So sometimes we don't even want the women to be around while we're saying all those things because we don't want somebody to poke on some hole and say, this one really, really bad. Well, I don't want my boyfriend or my husband to be around him and ever that thing. But we fail to understand that the stupid thing we do in relationship help relationships sometimes. Because when I offend my wife, those stupid things that I do in relationship, when she thinks about it sometimes, these are the things that makes her forgive me. This sometimes it's just so funny. But when we want to live this so much perfect life, we want to put things like we read them on books, the movies that we watch, we want to script our relationship. Oftentimes, the people we love become strangers around us, but we don't really know. We just match make it. We just pretend. At Madam Ngoria, sorry, I can't really pronounce that name very well. She said something that I so much like about my parents. I cannot say my mother and my father that lasted for 47 years before my dad passed on. Death do them part. I won't say it is only love that sustained that relationship. I think it is the culture, the community, because this is how they do it, and they do it. Because I see my mother gossip my father oftentimes. You understand? So when we started growing up, my mother put some things to us, how we can fight for her. You understand? Which means she can't get some of those things because there is no mutual relationship there. So she used us to achieve some of those goals. So culture and tradition may sustain them so long, but I don't really want to believe that it's love that sustained them that far. I don't want to believe that. They are two great people, but it's not love. But in our case now, where we are so free, the women are free to talk, the men are free to fight back. I think it messed a whole lot of things with relationship right now. Then talking about we the diasporas, big mistakes some of us make in relationship. I am educated. I went to aviation school. I do all these things. I come to abroad. I'm making this nice money. You know, I go to Nigeria, probably go marry an educated person. It just work well. Then you see some other persons who probably come here, don't want to go back to school. They feel it's so struggle. Then they start from that lower cadre. They're driving car. They're working in group homes. A man who is working in group home will go to Nigeria, go marry an educated woman who study art, probably not science like we'll differentiate it in Nigeria, who study art. This girl is working in the bank. We bring this girl here to force this girl to go into pure science, to go be a nurse. And me that is forcing this girl and she's doing it, I see no reason for me to upgrade myself. I've been driving car for 12 years in America. I see no reason to upgrade myself, but I'm pushing this woman. I'm not pushing the woman because of love. I'm pushing the woman because I know the woman going to bring a lot of opportunities into the house. Here comes the mistake. When we do all these things, we make this mistake. We say, oh, I sent her to school. How will a cab driver in the United States of America send a woman to go be a nurse in America. It's not possible. That is a big lie. It's not possible. We live in the US. Yes, you assist. We all agree. Now I bring my wife here. Surprise, surprise, I bought a phone. Surprise, surprise, I bought a car. Every day I make my wife understand. Surprise, surprise, I bought this. This person is going to school. This person started working. She started making her own money. Then when she do surprise, surprise, she bought a phone. I complained. Why will you buy a phone? Why don't you tell me if you need a phone? I will tell you because failing to understand that when people come, when I came to the US, when that woman came to the US, we need people to assist us in just basic things. Some of the things that we don't do back home. There is self-checkout. I can go to the grocery stores. I do self-checkout. These things, we don't have it in Nigeria. I can guide my wife to do that thing. But over time, my wife will catch up. She understand all these things. She understand the city bus if we don't have a car. Now she struggles. She knows how to drive. She can drive herself. She don't need me to be taking her to work and come pick her back. But I'm doing all this surprise. When I send money to my younger ones, I sit down in the living room, call them. I send you money you did not even call to tell me thank you. I send you money you did not call to tell you thank you. Probably maybe initially my wife is giving me money for me to send to her own parents. Now she's working, she have her own bank account, she's doing things herself. She send money to her own parents. I pick offense to it. This little thing. And remember, when my wife is changing, she started sending money to her own parent directly. If I even report to our own parent, our parent will take side. They will first of all support me. Because why the relationship started initially during the time of dating, I go to Nigeria, I give my in-laws money, I take care of maybe our siblings and everything. Everybody will support me. But over time, it will start changing. When my in-laws sees that I send them 200,000 and their daughter is sending them 1 million, they'll just look at me. I think this guy knacks too much. She's making money more than me. Why am I complaining? All these little things, we the diasporas never balance it. Don't go bring a woman and push this woman so much and you refuse to push yourself. If I'm not that educated, I'm driving a cab, I think it makes sense for me to go marry a girl who is selling pepper in Ojota market. That girl will forever love me. I am telling you because we'll become at par, we'll understand our limits. She will forever love me. Our parent will love me. Our parent is not expecting much from me. I'm not expecting much from her, and she's not even giving me that much. You will be content. But don't go marry a woman and bring a woman here and push this woman so much, and you, the man, refuse to grow. I blame men for those things. The same way you still also want to blame women when some of these women will also come here, then they see themselves like, oh, I've suffered, I want to enjoy. Then they want to spend all their money to do everything. Because oftentimes when we bring them here, I'm just talking from now, men part, when we bring women here, this little thing that you bring your wife here, maybe you make more money than her, probably she's doing petty job because she's going to school. I'm paying rent, I'm paying all the bills. Probably I just ask her, the little money you are getting, just use it for groceries, just feed me and the kids. I pay all the bill. Why she's getting stronger for me now to tell her that, hey, you got to bring more money so that we'll do like this. Maybe if I had want this thing that we have to do the joint account thing, why didn't I start it from the beginning? I think it would have made sense if I had started these things from the beginning. Because starting it from the beginning, I won't have this problem. Because when a woman starts making money more than the man, and she don't have much bills to pay at home, what do you think will happen? Before you wake up, you hear that she bought a land for her parents in Lagos. They started building a house. And I'm in abroad for 15 years. My own family are still living in rented apartments. Then I'll see myself like the woman used me. No, she never used me. I just did not arrange my home very well. So there are multiple layers to some of this our diaspora contract marriage thing. And marriage itself, when it's coming to the part of this breaking down with relationship, it is tough. It becomes purely contract. Everybody start thinking of their own interests. Love will naturally die.
Okay.
That's my take for now.
Thank you, Paul. Before I give the floor to Blackstone, welcome, Mr. Dexter. You see, what I highlighted there by Mr. Let's take 1 minute or 2 minutes each. to answer that question. I don't want us to be religious in this matter, because if we become religious in this, it's going to take us to a different, like what Madam Neka said, it's going to take us to a different place entirely. It's just what individual understands what love is to them. Because to be honest, nobody has been able to define it so far. What exactly it is. Some will say this, some will say that, and some will say this. So uh
Let's just hold on. Because I also have a question in that regard. So can I just ask my question first? I can for people that can contribute to
okay,
answer
all
that
right,
question.
go ahead. Somebody go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Tonika, for coming today, and I really appreciate all your input and all your talk. You know, it's quite interesting to listen to people with wisdom, who has wisdom. I have just three questions. I'm not commenting. Just three questions. The first one is this: what is the influence of today's society, social media, friends, and society? What impact does it have on love and marriage and relationship today?
Okay. Is that
Be-
okay? You're asking Madam Minika the question or the
yes,
floor?
to her. No,
Okay, so
Madam
Madam
Neka.
Minika, do you want the question one after the other, or you want the three at the same time? You are muted, Madam Minika.
Let me answer it one after the other.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Blackstone. Thank you so much for that question. When we talk about, again, when you're talking about social media influence, I'm also going to add peer group. I'm one person, I never believed in peer group. You know why? I feel like when a child is born, the first person that this child bonds with is the parents. So my advocate is that parents should raise their kids, especially their daughters. And why do I say especially their daughters? I need young girls to have self-esteem. And this self-esteem will come from the parent. And if all these men in this panel, in the comment section that are listening to me, please, if you have a daughter, I don't need you to go out there to buy them Gucci bag or buy them Birkin bags. Please give them love, hold them, always show them that you love them. That self-esteem, if you're able to build it in, I guarantee you when they go out there to make a choice of a partner, it will be much easier for them. So when you're talking about the social media influence, that's the same thing that I'm talking about. Because if they are well grounded in the house, it's going to be difficult for that social media and peer group to really influence them in making a decision. But these days we're busy looking for the money to pay all these bills that many a times as parents we leave that social media to raise the kids for us, or we leave it a babysitter to raise the kids for us, and we don't understand the damage that it does to the children. You know, my sister Mborie talks highlighted on this when she said that her daughter-in-laws will call her often and on and say thank you, and she's wondering why they're thanking her. She did a fantastic job raising those two boys, because I never had her say she had babysitters raising those boys. She did those jobs. And how did she do it? By teaching them how to cook, by teaching them how to fold laundry clothes. All those things that she was teaching these two boys, is the result is what she's now reaping by the daughter-in-laws. And she had good girls that even recognizes what she did to even appreciate her and now call her to say thank you, because in this very program, somebody was saying, Prince Akwati said he was washing dishes, and another Nigerian friend says, it's like, are you washing dishes? What then? What is your? Anybody can wash a dish. It doesn't reduce your 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 humanity or your ego because you washed a dish. You're washing your own dish. It's I think we emphasize on things that doesn't have any value. If we're talking about you're living with somebody that you truly love, and no matter how much we all dance around it, I'm still going to take us back. Have a list. What do you want in a woman? And what do you want in a man? Are you able to see that in whoever that is going to be your partner? If you're not able to see that, please be patient and look for somebody else. Mr. Blackstone, did I answer your question or no?
Okay, a little bit. Let me just like this. What I'm actually referring to is that when our children, both male and female, right, when they are growing up, right? So, and we know today in the Western world, right, you have a limited influence to some extent over your kids when they are growing up, right? And when our kids goes to school, right, you can teach them something at home, and things like that. But when they go to school, they meet their friends, and this peers influence, right? The society, the teachers, right? So how does this thing actually affect or build the ideology or the mentality of our young children when they are growing up, right? When this happens, for example, a woman will know that, oh, you have a power over your spouse, over your husband. If he does anything, call the police. They will push them out of the house. You have the authority, you have the power over him, and so on and so forth, right? All this comes from society, or from the society we are living in, right? And all these things are being preached, are being taught to these children when they are growing up, right? And whenever a child learns, when it's mostly from their teachers, though, they take to believe it more than sometimes when the parent cannot explain why, or cannot convince them why their teachers are wrong, in those areas. So what be the influence? There's also impact on this, because when they grow up, it is what they learn most of the time from society, from their friends and everything. It's what they take to the home, to marriages, to friendships. So that's what I'm trying to find out.
Blackstone, I would say to you, before those your children goes to school, you've already laid the foundation. Please do not disarm yourself thinking that the teachers or the television is going to destroy what you have been building. Let me give you an example, because I don't know when you joined us, and I raised my son all by myself. All by myself. And how did I do this? Everything that I would say to my son, I will always sit down with him and we're going to have dialogue. Example, I said to my son when he was growing up, from Monday to Friday, no television. I actually went as far as using a black cloth to cover the television, tape it all around. On Friday, when he comes back from school, if there's a homework, it has to be done. When that homework is completed, then he can watch TV, whatever he wants to watch. He watched that TV up until 7:30 on Sunday night. 8 o'clock, he has to be in bed to get a good sleep for Monday, right? But did I just go up and just cover that TV? I sat him down. I said, you see these people you're watching on this television? They're making their money. When are you going to make yours? Because I don't want you to ask anybody for anything. So I talked to him. Even a child that is in your womb, you have to talk to that child. Do not underestimate children. Sit them down. Don't just take away things from them without having a conversation with them. All right? So please don't give up and thinking that the media or the social whatever is going to overpower the foundation you've laid down in your family. When you come to the point you're making about we Nigerian women or we African women coming over here and learning the culture here of kicking, if there's a quarrel, we kick our men out of the house and take everything. I don't know when you joined us. I seriously, I said, if tomorrow I find a partner and we have a misunderstanding and he calls NYPD into that house, do not try to even apologize. It's over. Because growing up, I did not see NYPD in my home. So I will not tolerate that, period. And I'm not saying that somebody else will not do it, but this is us, again, why I said from the beginning of any relationship, there must be a dialogue, a very serious dialogue, without anybody holding back or trying to pretend to be holier than thou. And if some of us says we don't want to speak up, my question is why? Why wouldn't I tell this person, this is what I can tolerate or this is what I cannot tolerate? I don't agree with that. And at the same time, I will not agree on any man putting their hands on any woman. Neither will I agree on any woman putting their hands on any man. Growing up, I never saw my dad raise a hand and hit my mom. So I will not agree to that either. So it depends on what each and every one of us agree with. That's why at the beginning of this program, I said, if we're 10 of us in this panel right now, our list will not be the same. So what is your list? So when you go out there to look for a woman, that's the type of woman you'll be looking for. When I go out there to look for a man, that's the type that I will be looking for. And I might say, I can't compromise with this. This is what I want. And if I'm not able to find at least 60, 70% of what I'm looking for, I might say, I'm not going to go for it. Let me be by myself. Somebody else might look at it in a different way. So Blackstone, I will continue to tell you, parents should not throw up their hands in the air and think that it's the teacher who is going to raise your child for you. When your child comes back, if the teacher says anything that doesn't make sense, sit that child down and have a discussion with your child. It's your child.
I completely agree with that because we must not leave the work for the teacher or for anyone to do. Is the parent. But let me just highlight a conversation going on there in respect to this topic. It's love of convenience. Someone, like I said, if you see, I mean, most of you must have seen the thumbnail. Let the men breathe. So because they put everything blame on the men. Here is Comfort Barber saying at Club, responding to Club, I'm here to listen and learn from the future. And if the diaspora men ask for my attention, why not?
So, okay, let me continue with my question. Yeah, thank you, madam, for your answers, right? I know why I asked that question because it is a big problem today for our African women who come here, who have kids, you know. So definitely, my kids never had a mobile phone until they were 12 years old. Never had a smartphone until they were 12 years old. And I and the mother agreed that whatever I agreed to is what we shall agree to when it comes to dealing with the children. right? And whatever she says is what I will stand on, right? With the children, we never even had a TV in their rooms, you know. So we have a center TV in the room, and today I thank God they are doing well, right? Because it's very funny sometimes we see our women, right from the age of 2, they're already buying smartphones for their children. That then when they are crying, they give them the smartphone. They tell you, yeah, they are playing, they are doing this, they are just, you know, those sort of things. That's why I asked that question. Okay, my second question is this, right? How can anyone know, right, if somebody truly is loving you, or that person is lost after you, or that person is infatuated after you? So how do we differentiate the motive of that person?
Okay. Again, I'm not asking you to share with us. Mr. Blackstone, what is in your list? What do
I
you
have a
want?
list.
No. You have to. Excuse me, Blackstone. Let me tell you, your list should not only be, oh, can a Neka cook? Or if you want somebody, my front, you want it bigger, write down in your list. You are not wrong writing it down that way. If the back, you want that back to be whatever size, medium, large, or extra large, write it down. What is in your list? Nobody is going to con you. And it's not every time. Let's say now you want Neka and you know where Neka lives. Neka knows where you live. It's not every time you will tell a Neka, I'm coming over tonight. Just pop in. Pop in. You can pop in even 5 a.m. in the morning and see Neka without the makeup. Is that what you want? Don't only see Neka when a Neka has a makeup artist and the makeup artist. What is in your list? I will continue to take you back to this list, because what you see, my sister here, I'm worried. What she wants might not be what I want, and I can see maybe she and I have something in common, having a bald head. There's some women who cannot wear this. With anytime you ring the bell, where's my wig? Where's my wig? Huh? I don't care. You see what I'm saying to you? I don't care how you see me. I'm okay with who I am. But am I saying that the ones that wants to put the wig and put the makeup, and are they wrong? No. So everybody has what attracts them. That's why I'm continuing to say to you, what is in your list? You gotta go with that list. You can't just jump and do things because you see electricity is getting married tomorrow. Oh, electricity is my friend. Oh, now he has already found somebody. Then you go with that anxiety and pick up somebody. Men does it, women does it also. It's not just one side. Do not do anything because your friends have done it. And for women, I said it earlier. Don't worry about this biological clock. Now we have freezers. If you can find somebody that you can reckon with, put it in the freezer. And if you still can't find it, well, do it yourself. There's banks, you know. If you go to the bank, they'll give you the list. Okay, the person who donated this sperm is 6 feet tall, has a gap teeth, has this. Buy. There's nothing wrong with it anymore. You understand what I'm saying to you? And then raise your child by yourself, if you can. So there's now options. Unlike in those days, we didn't have all these options. You mustn't live with somebody if you're not happy. Because also, not just the two of you anymore. Then you bring this innocent human being and you destroy that child because you guys were not meant to be together in the first place.
Yeah, actually, what actually mean that, okay, there are people that actually pretend to love you, right? But they're not loving you, but they're just lusting after it's lost, right? And without they continue with it, and you feel that yes, that person have got the quality of the things, or the quality you need in a woman. Yeah, like the list. You must make sure the list, right? The quality, what you are listed down, she has it or he has it, right? But the other person is not actually loving you, but just lost it after you for one reason or the other. Right?
Blackstone, Blackstone, the writings are on the wall. So wake up, wake up. If you wake up, the writings are on the wall. It's there. You have the humanity to be able to see that I'm pretending for you. But the problem human beings go through is that we just kind of put a blind eye to it. No. Don't put that in yourself. Don't put that on yourself. No. You can do better. There's no pretending. There's no pretending. Trust me on that. Trust me. If you open your eyes really well, you're going to see that I'm pretending.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's the answer I want to.
Yes. Well, there's not too much somebody will pretend for you. Just open your eyes and do not give up you see something, you didn't like it, but you don't want to say anything because you don't want to lose that person. No. Say it.
All right. Mr. Blackstone, thanks very much. Mr. Dexter, I can see you are yawning.
My third question.
Hold on, Mr. Blackstone. You will ask your third question. Mr. Dexter is yawning and he's been waiting. So
let him go and sleep now. Shall you do?
Mr. Dexter, please, can I ask for your permission? For Miss Imborio has been raising her hand. Maybe she wants to add something or say something to what I just before she lose her train of thoughts. Thank you so much.
Please let her speak. Yeah, please let her speak. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Neka, and the rest of the panelists that agreed with her. Actually, the question the Blackstone raised is major. And I don't know what it means to him, but to me, that is major. Especially in the world where children can be easily confused. And I appreciate the way you, Dr. Neka, has in more than one way answered that question. I just want to contribute a little bit to it. Like I said yesterday, I am a great grandmother. That doesn't mean I know a thing, but I've been around the block a little bit, a few times. I think, or I am, you may say, persuaded or driven to think that a genuine, what they call love, because as that lady is asking, so am I asking, what really is love? To know that somebody means what they call love, I am thinking that is somebody that will express to you how tomorrow can be better for you. They are not telling you what they think will benefit them. They are showing you, bringing to you constantly how it will be a better you tomorrow. The highest they can add to it is a better us tomorrow. Some may want to go do the doo-doo. I don't know that who wants the doo-doo first, who wants to start with doing the doo-doo will last or that they wouldn't last. But the little minimal amount of times I've been around the block do point to the direction that if a man or woman, especially man, because the culture I come from, men make the move more than women make the move. If a man will say to you, I love you, and the next thing they go to is, you are reasoning very well. Do you know about this idea from this person? And that you could even get to point B from point A that I saw there. And here is also a way to better. Most of the times, they mean well for tomorrow and the union. Thank you. I so submit.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Dexter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. I've been listening in the background. I think what everybody's saying makes sense, though. So, I also think that there's no universal law to all these things, really. You know, what might work for Blackstone might not be applicable for tone, and might not be applicable for electricity. You know, so
Why not?
and may not be applicable for me. There's no almighty formula in human relationships. So, I mean, some people you might say something like that you see the signs. Maybe somebody is trying to use you, but not everybody. I can be genuinely in love with somebody who is trying to defraud me. It happens, and you know, I might not have the sixth sense to spot it. You know, I think this is the reality of life and human relations. You know, as much as we want it to be ideal, human relations will always have kinks here and there. You know, so we always have people that will fall for scams. You know, you have men that will fall for ladies who would come into their lives just to use them. And you have women who will fall for men that will come into their lives just to use them. One thing I will agree on is the family. I mean, the family values. If parents can take responsibility of their children, especially when they are young, and driving in the right values, then it's easier for the children. You give the children a better foundation to be able to have a sound mind and make good decisions and be around the right kind of people. But when parents sublet their responsibilities to proxies, you will have to reap the benefits. If the proxy is not a good one, then you have to pluck the fruits that's from the tree. You know, as it grows up, you pluck the fruits that grows there. You can't plant a lemon tree and want to get oranges. You can't plant a pear tree and say you want to get mangoes. You know, you have to own it. You know, you have to own it. And also, I think also teaching the children from a young age. I think that's something we don't really teach among Africans. That teaching children from a young age to take responsibility. You know, sometimes we don't really teach so much of that in Africa. So we can help the children by making them from a young age, make the child realize that he's responsible for his actions. You know, I think if we start teaching that among the next generation, especially in Nigeria, we'll have a better nation. Because what you have in Nigeria presently is people that just believe that they are not responsible for their actions, especially from when they are young, and they grow up like that. And the truth is that by the time your child reaches 10 years old, his psychology has already been formed. That's the truth. His psychology has been formed. If you have not invested in that child at that point in time, I'm sorry, you are fighting a losing battle immediately. You know, so if you start teaching, if we in Africa we can start teaching the children, especially in Nigeria, that their actions from when they are kids, you know, that their actions are going to have consequences. Like Madam Neka said, your child telling the child you're not going to watch TV at this particular point in time. You find out that that child, as he grows up, he already knows that there's consequences for actions he's taking. He goes to school, he does well, he can see the outcome, and he puts it into other parts of his life, you know. But when we don't do that, we would definitely get what we definitely have children that will fall into all these booby traps, you know. And the idea of love, I think love means different things to everybody differently. What you might call love for me, if I use an example, what I consider to be love, what it's not what my wife considers to be love. I mean, like there's some things like I'll do for her. She'll be like, no, that doesn't mean that. I know you're trying to show me that you love me, but no, that's not what I want. You know, she might be doing something. I'm like, oh no, that's not. So I think love is also something about you have to grow into it, and you have to get to understand the person and know exactly what constitutes love. Love is not you. That is what I mean, love is just a big language we use, but what constitutes love for every individual is different, you know, basically different, you know. As much as you want kindness, you want all those kind of things, but you know, there are some people that at particular situations and times, you know, what constitutes love for them is completely different, and you have to be able to understand what that person wants. You know, I think it's a very big topic with a lot of lacunas, and well, you might not be able to finish it this night. Yeah.
Yeah, that is you're correct. I've also taken some notes. We can't exhaust it, let's be honest with ourselves. But we'll pick on a few topics and we continue to talk about it. It's refreshing to me because there is no back and forth. There is no constitution being highlighted here. The issue of love and marriage is an unwritten constitution. But beside this program has provided me therapy this week, and which I appreciate most. Take my mind off certain things. I will come back. Madam Nick, I wish I talked behind at the usual time. So
Yeah.
I will run this program again. The point that has been raised, we will run it. What is the color of love? So I will run that and we will go into it again. So I will bring this broadcast to an end, and I would like to thank every one of you who have joined. Chim, if you are hearing, thank you very much for standing in for me. And it will be a good night from me to you all, and we shall meet again. I think I think I'll leave politics for a while because this is refreshing, to be honest.
Electricity. Maybe we can continue on backstage. Anybody want to speak? So I can. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, all right, you can continue backstage because I had to leave and.
I know it's your time to leave. Definitely.
Yes.
Please, not to be offend, not to offend you. I just needed Dr. Neka's number, or please.
It's up to her if she wants to.
Or
Some.
my own information if she has time. I don't know. I don't want to lose her contact.
Okay, Moria, can you look in the chat? I'm just going to put my number there for you.
In a private chat.
Oh, please. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody.
I can see John Abba. John Abba, why are you?
Did you see that?
I want to close the broadcast, but that's why you're coming in.
I'll come and see if you can. You said to look at
him now, so we'll go
in the private chat. Did you see the private chat?
Okay, let me see private chat. Where is the private chat go?
It's if you look to your right hand side.
Mm-hmm.
Is she on YouTube, or she's on the
YouTube? No. I'm on YouTube.
No.
Yeah.
YouTube. No private chat on YouTube. It's
there is a private chat on YouTube.
Oh, you go.
On the side, because she's in the panel. She can see what is on your. Did you see it?
Yes, I saw it. Thank you so very much, Doctor.
Good. Okay.
So very much. 6.
John Abba, are you coming or you are leaving? I'm about to bring the broadcast to an end. It's when we want to end that John Abba is coming in to prolong this thing.
But then electricity, I told you that this topic is going to draw a lot of attention, and we just have to set up, because I really, with what is happening with the diaspora relations, we really need to talk more about this, especially for our young ones.
We will. I assure you, but I'm really tired. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And you know what's been
Yeah,
happening.
yes.
This is a therapy for me, but I can assure you that I will put up another one soon, and we will discuss in details on how to go about it. So, and it's a pleasant program. Tony is so quiet. There's no Wiki issue and no Tinubu issue, and everybody. So I think I will tread on this part now.
Okay. All right.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Just have a lovely weekend and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.